There's a disturbing trend. It's been going on for a while. Our various thought leaders and people at the forefront of the spiritual movement and the awakening, the shift and the event and all that stuff. And the people that we've been relying on to give us the news. People are out there giving talks on the subject and readings and information that they receive as downloads and all that sort of thing. They're just not where they once were. Okay, in order to be one of those people, you really got to have your third eye open, your crown chakra open. You got to vibrate at a frequency that connects with that energy, that spiritual internet, connects all worlds and all dimensions. Being as someone who's had that vision since as long as I can remember, and I know that you got to keep it pure, you got to keep it open, and when it's corrupted in any way, when you become self-centered, it gets obscure. And there are plenty of people out there who think that they're seeing 2020 because they are or were for a while. I'm seeing them falter. I like following different people and see who picks up on the same things that I pick up on. And it's just not happening so frequently. See, you have to remain centered in a place where you're free of distraction, okay? And you can have no stake in the outcome. Whatever the information is, it just is, and you can have no stake in that, okay? If you have ambition, or if you want to make money doing this, good luck, because it's not going to last. You ever notice celebrity psychics? They're extremely accurate and everybody's following them, and then they get really famous and then suddenly they kind of go away or their predictions just don't materialize anymore. I'm sorry, but you can't throw money and fame into the mix. You can't be a famous psychic or clear channel of the universe and sign autographs at the same time. It just doesn't work because it just makes everything cloudy. It just, you can't stay neutral, and you have to stay neutral. You have to just be able to open your eyes and take a look at what's there and have nothing get in the way that you have to look around and you want it to look like something, and before you know it, you're talking yourself into the fact that that's what it looks like. You got to stay free and clear, because I'm seeing some of these truly open channels get fuzzy. For years, people were like, you should, give readings for a living. You're gifted. Besides the fact that I don't want to do that, I also know that as soon as you start taking money for it, your days are numbered. It's not gonna last. We all have to make a living, but I'm sorry, it's just, you can't do it. You can't. It doesn't work. You have to vibrate at a clear channel. And of course, this is an open door for those systems of control, those beings on the other side of this who are trying to maintain their grasp on this and don't want us to shift. I see them get used as pawns in this. If they would back off and become a clear channel again, they would see where the machinations are coming in and how they're being manipulated. People get played. Even if they're just playing themselves and they don't realize it. So, I don't want to point fingers. I'm just putting it out there that I've noticed this disturbing trend, and it's working for the wrong side. And they're playing all sorts of games, and they're not going quietly. They're pretending to go along with this whole shift idea and the event, and we know it's coming, and so, mea culpa, we're here to, mend our ways. They don't mean it. But they're luring certain people in, like, okay, yeah, I know I can work with this guy. Well, you can't. And if you think you can see where they are and where they're coming from, there's only so much you can see here as a fully engaged human being in this third dimensional realm. You can go beyond it, and you can vibrate at that higher frequency, but what will happen is that you will virtually cease to exist. What I mean by that is once you're vibrating at a different frequency than everybody else, they don't see you. Sort of like becoming invisible. You're not really invisible, but they just sort of don't look in your direction. They don't notice that you're there. I've done this before, so I know how it works. See, our world and our society and all our various peoples, I talk about the different frequencies that we broadcast at. And there's a reason why there are separations within classes and segments. On the lower end of the spectrum, the downtrodden, the destitute, they're vibrating, they're broadcasting on one frequency. And most of us in the middle or who aren't broadcasting at that, we'll sort of miss that they even exist. The homeless, the destitute, and the hungry is much more widespread than most of us are being led to believe, and we accept that because most of us won't see these people. Not because we don't care, but because they're broadcasting at a different frequency and you just ride past them. You may see some of them, but you don't see how widespread it is. And then you've got various frequencies in the middle spectrum, and I don't need to go through all of those, but there's a reason why the popular kids at school didn't hang out with the rest of the kids, and the rest of the kids were like, oh, they're so different than me, or they're all stuck up, or whatever. And you noticed that there was a difference. There's different frequencies. Then you've got the rich, the elites, who are broadcasting a much different frequency, and you may see some of them, but only when they want you to. And then there's the ultra top 1% of the 1% that you will never see. And they may be standing right next to you. Probably not, but they may, and you won't even know that they're there because you don't broadcast at that frequency. So that's kind of the way this whole thing works. And in order to be a clear channel, you have to be an antenna that can take in all frequencies. And what it tends to happen is when you have ambition or you want to make money, that frequency band that you're able to pick up with your antenna gets more narrow. Try your best to be neutral. Pick up on all the frequencies you can. And take yourself and your desires, your ambitions, and your ego out of the mix. Because it's the only way to truly be a clear channel for, that antenna that picks up on all the frequencies that are being broadcast into your world, into your life. At that point, you will begin to see exactly where things are coming from. You will eventually be able to pick up on the full spectrum and everybody that's around you. Once we all see, then nobody can tell you that you're not seeing what you're actually seeing. This is the transition. So, happy transitioning.